Well, greetings, ladies and gentlemen, once again to another review podcast. This week, new release to a classic film from 1939. Of course, I'm talking about Sam Raimi's Oz, the Great and Powerful. This one's kind of a weird one to actually figure out what it's supposed to be, and of course, what I mean by that is a lot of people say, oh, it's a prequel to The Wizard of Oz. It is, but officially it isn't. Yeah, doing some research before I made this review, it turns out there's this pain in the ass, of course, copyright laws that I don't know why we have copyrights existing this. Well, it's actually now Disney's reaping its own problems in that it made the Mickey Mouse law, which extended copyrights for several more decades. But basically, Warner Brothers owns the rights to the film The Wizard of Oz, so all the character likenesses and such. What Disney did is it's basing it officially on the books by, and this is going to kill me because I just looked it up and now I already forgot. But they're based on the original Oz books. So that's their, legal way of getting around. Well, it's in this book. It says the person is a witch, that type of stuff. Actually, they even went to the degree that the Wicked Witch of the West, basically, they had to change the hue of her green so it didn't match exactly the hue from the 39 movie. And same thing, they couldn't do the chin apparently. Like, the legal department said, no, if you do a chin like they did in the movie, it's copyright infringement. It's annoying. But, yes, Frank Baum, the original author, of course, of the Oz books, or Wicked books, too. It's an entire series he wrote. So, overall, what did I think of this movie? Since I just went into a spiel about legal copyrights. It's okay. I liked it better than last week's movie, which was Jack the Giant Slayer. See, that's how forgettable that film was. I already forgot I saw it. But yeah, if comparing the two, which considering they're coming out at the same time, and therefore if you're going and you have to pick one or the other, I'd go for Oz. It has some pacing issues, but nothing like Jack the Giant Slayer. It has a much better effect, and I think the story is much more there. The characters are better. Some people, I think, have complained about James Franco's swarminess a bit. Here's the thing: that's the campiness of Sam Raimi coming through right there. And in a setting like this, the campiness works. It works really. It works. This is a good fit with Sam Raimi, I think. He can. Yes, after The Amazing Spider-Man has now come out, it was kind of, a lot of people look back now at the Raimi movies, they're kind of like, these could have been so much better, but they had that camp element to it, and then a lot of people now criticize. At the time, no one criticized him for that, but now they kind of are. But with this, it fits really, really well. I think it's a good match of directorial style and source material. Like, he was the director to do this. There is, of course, an way overuse of CGI, as usual. There's a lot of unnecessary CGI, stuff. It's like, why aren't you... It'd be cheaper and it would look better. So why are you not doing that stuff? At least some of the elements in here, though, there's more excuses, like the, what was I going to say? Some of the creatures, fine. It would have been nice if they had done at least some practical effect, like flying monkeys. Yeah, make some prosthetics. Come on, put some effort. Come on. Though, at the same time, I know a lot of other directors probably would have had more CGI in that. Like, could you imagine if George Lucas did this? So, with that being said, it could have been worse. It's still not an awesome movie as far as I'm concerned. Again, this is actually kind of like last week's, where if you're going with kids, like, I'm pretty sure they're gonna really enjoy this movie. I was actually somewhat surprised when I went to the theater to see this today, which, well, it's 12 o'clock right now. Slight delay on recording, but so technically yesterday. I had to go see this on a Friday morning, and people had their kids with them. School's not closed. What the? They don't look like preschoolers. At least I don't think. Why is your kid here? Especially around here, because I'm recording right across the bay from Seaside Heights, and our schools lost so many days worth, even after the storm passed, because all the schools were hurricane shelters. And where do you think everyone that lost their house was at? So it's not like there's a day off or something. Regardless, we'll get into some of the performances. I kind of mentioned James Franco. He's just got this weird smirk he keeps on giving, and I kind of get the purpose. It's supposed to be a really awkward, unusual, somewhat fake smirk thing. That's part of the campiness element. I'm pretty sure that was purposely directed from Rami. It doesn't work with some people. I kind of get what they were doing. I don't know why it's becoming this smirk. If this was a video, I'd imitate the smirk, but he's got this weird, overly expressive smirk he keeps on doing. But other than that, I kind of get it. He's playing, the character is... Yeah, again, I'm not sure how close this is to the books. I have not read the Frank Baum books, so I don't know if this is like dead-on character or if this is off. But through most of the movie, he kind of plays as a con man. He uses his magic and electric, and of course this is how the character's supposed to be, because even in, later on in The Wizard of Oz, he's still up to these tricks, still prefers to well, not con people. Well, he actually does call himself a con man, so I guess that is fair to say. But he's still up to these type of shenanigans where he wants to impress people. So he kind of quickly goes on with, like, are you a wizard? Yeah, I'm a wizard. The fact that he's a magician helps out. He fakes a lot of his magic, but he's got a character arc at least. More than I can say with, like, Jack in Jack and the Giant Slayer. There's a much more definitive character arc with this guy, where he's got, it's stereotypical, but, somewhat not caring, but you can at least tell he does kind of have a good heart. Like, he wants people to think he's, like, better than he is, but at the end of the day, he's still, like, kind of a good guy, but he's also a dick too. He's got both. The way he treats Scrubs the monkey. That's not his actual character name, but yeah, the guy from Scrubs. What's his name? Zach Braff plays a flying service monkey. Like, it's a nicer monkey, as he points out. It's a baboon. It's baboons that are the evil monkeys, apparently. But yeah, if you're a Scrubs fan, you'll be happy. He's got a little live action cameo there at the beginning, which is another thing they kind of do. Like, all the a lot of the characters, then when he goes to Oz, are people that he meets before he goes to Oz, which brings up some questions, because we didn't see that with Dorothy. Again, that might be an element from the book. So if it is, okay. Maybe he is. You could interpret this film as that this is like, maybe he's in heaven or something, or he's dying and this is his brain flickering. That's a little too dark, though. I don't think that is the case with one of the Oz books. Where else were we? So we have James Franco. He was fine. I liked him. We had Mila Kunis, and this is where we're getting into spoiler territory. Although the movie kind of spoils this for you. At least I think. She plays Theodora, the Wicked Witch of the West. Probably if you read the books, you hear that name immediately, you know who she's playing. They kind of probably assume correctly that 99% of the population out there, or at least 90%, are not going to be able to pick that up. So it's interesting. It gives that character. It seems to be the one character that, at least with our modern audiences, we want to re-examine. Why is she so wicked? It's a sign of our modern literary culture, where we really want these very complex characters, and we don't want just quick allegory characters, which was, of course, the original being written a fairly long time ago, and being a form of fantasy where they really didn't have this type of character development or complexity often, especially among their villains. Villains often were just bad. And this still actually goes on to a certain degree in Japanese literature, or Japanese, I shouldn't say necessarily literature, but within Japanese writing. And if you want to know what I mean by that, is look at like the really poor excuse like most Final Fantasy villains have for wanting to destroy the world. Like we have, like, it's insanity. Why is this bad? Why is this person doing? He's got an insane philosophy. That's pretty much it. With a lot of, not with all Japanese writing, but with a lot of Japanese. Well, not a lot. It's hard to tell because we only kind of get a small trickling. But at least with among anime and video game plots, that tends to be like, he's crazy. He wants to end all suffering, so he's going to kill everybody. If everyone's dead, they don't suffer. Like crazy stuff like that. In the West, especially in the 1800s and such, people were evil because they were evil, and they outright said they were evil. The Wicked Witch of the West is pretty much the apex of this example, or not the apex. My apologies. The epitome of this example. She's wicked. She outright says she's wicked. She says she's evil. All this stuff. So, of course, modern writing, she's going to be one of the main focuses. We have to see her devolve in this case. She's got to go the Darth Vader route. Which is kind of sad, though, since we know the overall tale is that, in the end, now we kind of go like, well, she's going to die, and she never gets redeemed. We don't have that satisfaction. Like, she just dies unremorseful. In this end, it starts off with, Theodora. She's the first one that meets Oz. She's the one that kind of first falls for his tricks. She's kind of seen to be the most naive of the sisters. Of the witches, which I thought there was 4, but apparently in this one there's only 3. I could be wrong on that. But the other 2 sisters immediately kind of pick up quickly with Oz that he is not who he says he is, but they kind of still think they can maybe use him. Theodora immediately goes, you're the wizard, and as soon as he says yes, she buys it wholeheartedly, and this gets used against her later on. But we don't really get this sense of why she seems to be so naive, and then why she's so isolated. When James Franco's with her, or when Oz is with her, he later kind of dances with her, and asks her some questions like, you must get, people, you have callers all the time because you're so beautiful. She's played by Mila Kunis. Or, when he dances with her, he's like, you never danced before, and she kind of acknowledges this, and you get this real sense that maybe she has been neglected and all by herself, even when she has this power, but it's never really dealt upon or explained. I have a feeling there's a missing scene there, or some missing dialogue that explains this element of her character. Why is that the case? Did her sister always keep her isolated to some degree? Always driving people away, or is there just that because she's a witch none of the other citizens of Oz, want to actually ask any of that to her. They feel like maybe she's above her or something. We never get an explanation on that, which is kind of disappointing. It would complete her character. But you finally figure out, though, that she's going to become the Wicked Witch of the West, when, after her sister kind of tricks her and starts manipulating her, kind of going, oh, Oz danced with me, he said all these lines, and yada, 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 basically saying that, breaking it to her on purpose to kind of turn her, that she's the evil, that Oz has kind of played her, and breaking her heart. And when she finds out about this, she cries. And as she cries, it actually burns. Like the tears, as they roll down her cheeks, burn her. And they actually leave these little scars. So she's got these kind of cool eye scars in the shape of teardrops running down her face for a little bit. And right when that happens, you go, okay, she's got to be the Wicked Witch. Or she's going to become the Wicked Witch. And lo and behold, her sister, kind of gives her an apple and says, you don't want to feel this hurt, take this apple, it'll turn you kind of wicked. But you won't feel the broken heart anymore. And of course she eats it and she devolves into the Wicked Witch. I don't know why they had the one CGI hand at first, though. This was in the trailer when the hand kind of goes on the table and it scratches. I don't know why that was CGI. You couldn't just paint her hand green, put some nails on it, and hell, you could have CGI'd the scratch marks, but at least have the hand. Come on. And from that point on, she kind of becomes a bit of the Wicked Witch that we know from legend, although she is more of the broken heart thing. She's scornful against the wizard, although it's kind of weird that she doesn't bring that up then later on. Unless she does in the books, but, because technically this is based on the books. But, in the movie, weird how she doesn't say that, because most people are going to interpret this as a prequel to the movie. The 39 movie, of course. Speaking of the others, so I liked Mila Kunis. She does, as usual, her good job. She's acceptable. Michelle Williams was Glinda, the Good Witch. Kind of bland. Kind of didn't get her character, actually, because she went from being ultra good to kind of being vengeful on kind of, it kind of makes sense, but it doesn't feel right for this film, the way that happened. And what I mean by vengeful, I mean, she eventually is you, to her one sister, Evanora. And when, she kind of confronts her near the end, you killed, you poisoned our father, we had to throw down. Well, it kind of didn't feel right for that character. That ending that confrontation did not feel right. Especially because at that point she was technically already defeated. Oz did his big ploy. He tricked the witches actually into thinking that he was a great and powerful wizard. And of course Evanora was the first to just go, I'm getting out of here. This guy is too powerful. So she was already fleeing the city at that point. Speaking of Evanora, played by Rachel Weisz, again, fine. She was supposed to be the more manipulative of the sisters. She's actually supposed to be the sister that the house lands on top of in The Wizard of Oz. So we get to see, at least we get more of an intro backstory to her, and it works kind of well. It works alright. As for our, companion replacements, we've got, I already mentioned Zach Braff as a flying service monkey. He's kind of funny. I enjoyed his character. Um, you had Joey King as China Girl. Uh, Mixture. At first, she has the most tender moments. Having this little China doll character probably has the most tender moments with Oz in the film, and is kind of the most responsible for his character change. But at other times, she gets a little confusing. I did like though that there was one little moment they had with this character where she's like, the China Girl character is like, I'm coming with you. Defend myself. So she goes up and kicks Oz, and Oz is like, that didn't hurt. Kind of pointing out you are just a China character. You can't really fight that much. It was nice because normally they have that scene and the actor will be hurt or something like, oh my, okay, well I guess you can stand up for yourself. Instead with her, they kind of just go, and that's exactly why I don't want to take you with me. Of course, she also has this weird scene before, again, back in Kansas, the same actor shows up as a little girl, seeing this performance, and right in the middle of Oz's magic show, she's like, cure me, make me walk, and even the parents are buying it. Like, it seems like, I'm sure some people are gonna be like, what the fuck? Like, why don't you realize it's a magic show? But it's 1905, and people are kind of dumb. And it's Kansas 1905. I don't think these are the smartest, people around. I'm pretty sure there were probably people like that back then that actually did, like, they saw a magic show, be like, cure my glaucoma. Which is why often I think a lot of magicians also, like, sold fake, medicine as well, just because that worked. Yeah, people actually bought that they actually had magic. But like that was like a weird scene because he kind of he could have just he actually uses this later on, but he actually says, I can't, not that type of magician. That's not within my powers. You figure he would have had this prepped, like if someone ever asked him for something like that. But he seems to be really off guard and just like freezes up at that point. And of course, at that point, the entire audience like turns on him as a fake, as opposed to going, I'm sorry, my dear, but there are limits to even my power. Kind of a weird moment. That pretty much rounds out the main cast. I mean, we have Tony Cox shows up as Tony Cox. He was the elf in Bad Santa. He's basically playing the same character without the cursing. And of course it is a Sam Raimi movie, so Bruce Campbell showed up. I was hoping Bruce Campbell was going to have a bigger part in this movie. He's in like one scene again, and he just basically gets hit on the head a bunch of times by Tony Cox. I was like, Raimi, really? You couldn't have given him something else? You couldn't have made his role just a little bit bigger? Come on. And of course, Ted Raimi as well shows up as basically being one of the guys in the audience is like going, fake! Totally fake. Yeah, it's a Raimi movie. You're hoping for one of those two. I was still hoping for a bigger role for Bruce, because his star has risen in the last couple of years. He's doing Burn Notice now. He's somewhat recognizable even among mainstream, and he's done a lot of voice work. If you really look at the past couple of years, like, he's gotten a lot of voice work done. Anyway, so that is my overall opinion on the movie. It's okay. I hate it when they're okay. And this is especially one of those where it's okay, where if this is like on TV, I could see myself watching it. It's not at that okay, it's even bland, like too bland okay. It's passable. Again, if you have kids, this is one of the better ones I would go to, where it's going to be fine for you to watch it, and it'll keep the kids entertained as well. That's pretty much it. Uh, anything? Let's see here now. Any channel news coming up? I think I have a counter monkey that I recorded a while ago, and I'm gonna probably put that up tomorrow. The next day, I don't. Tomorrow is actually Seaside Heights' St. Patty's Day parade, so I might be there. I'm gonna probably be there for most of the actual day, and we'll see if I get anything done in the evening. I might have to, at that point I might be a little exhausted, and slightly drunk from. There might be a little bit of alcohol involved in going to the St. Patty's Day parade in Seaside Heights, so I might get that up today or tomorrow. Might not. And of course, we're still waiting for later in the month. What else is coming out? I think we still have. Yeah, on March 22nd, of course, we have Olympus Has Fallen, and then, of course, on the 28th, G.I. Joe Retaliation. Actually, the 15th, nothing really coming out next week, so I might wind up catching something. Maybe Emperor, if that's playing around here. Although I haven't heard a ton of great things about that, but that might be it. Other than that, not a whole lot else going on. So if you enjoyed the review, please like, subscribe, watch my other videos, get my viewing count out, or up. That would be it. Yes, thank you for all signing in. Or I'm signing out.